Hi all. We will be starting the meeting in next 5 minutes. Thank you for waiting. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, on behalf of Uzu.com and IDTlibrary.com, we again thank you for your active participation and making this 3-day webinar on Business 360 Reboot and Revive a big success. Before we head towards today's session, we have an important announcement. And as in continuation to the quest in helping our fellow practitioners and business owners, Uzu.com and IDT Library will be arranging a session on arbitration, that is introduction and how to proceed, on 29/6/2020, that is this coming Monday. Advocate Meenal Ghiya will be taking over the session, while Sri Pankaj Ghiya ji himself will be providing key insights. Please register at uzu.com for the same. In today's session, we'll be covering two important aspects of our business, that is tax strategy and compliance, and how in this coming times, technology has taken over. Mr. Ribhav Ghiya and Mr. Prashant Gupta will be highlighting their insights on the same. Our first speaker of the day is CA Ribhav Ghiya. Ribhav is a young and dynamic practicing chartered accountant specializing in the fields of direct and indirect tax. He today will be covering over the scope of tax compliance and tax strategy. I now welcome you all and also request Ribhav to kindly start his deliberations.
Thank you. Thank you, Soil, for such a nice introduction of yours. We will be waiting just another 2 minutes and then we will start our topic. Hello everyone. Today my topic is compliance. So compliance in during this COVID pandemic, there are many changes in the deadlines, and we all are just taking into account what deadlines are affecting our business and what not. So today's topic of mine is what is compliance and what are the deadlines in the GST, income tax, and TDS. So, starting, firstly, I would like to thank you, Uzu.com and IDTlibrary.com, for providing me an opportunity to share my views on this platform among my fellow professionals and business owners. During the past 2 days, we have covered many topics, and interesting ones, I must say, like relook at business, relook at finance, risk management, and funding, etc. So these topics are provided a very good insight on our how to revive our business and how to gain knowledge from these. Gain knowledge from these. Today's topic is very interesting and very common to our professionals, and I would like this topic to be very interactive. Today's topic is compliance. So basically, what is compliance? What is compliance? You can say that compliance is a 9-letter word, but it eats more than 9 hours a day of our life. No matter how small the word it seems, the scope and the stress related to these compliance related deadlines is immense, and we all professionals are buried under it. With respect to business owner, the business owner, they depend upon us fellow practitioners to file their returns timely, to ensure that smooth functioning from to ensure a smooth functioning of their business. From GST to income tax to ROC, we professional take care of every compliance, and all such compliance are followed by us professionals. I always think that the prevention is better than cure. Let us take a small example. Like during this COVID pandemic, the government has introduced the 9 p.m. deadline. What is 9 p.m. deadline? After 9 p.m., you cannot roam around your house or your office. You have to stay at home. This is also a compliance which has been mandated by government. Similarly, there are income tax returns deadlines, there are GST return deadlines. So, we all know that today is also a deadline for GST return 3B of for assessees having turnover of more than rupees 5 crore. So these the compliance word is in itself is a very wide and big term, but we have to learn what is compliance, whether it is following laws, regulations, requirements, rules, governance. All these are part of compliance. Today we are here to talk about compliances related to income tax returns, GST returns, TDS, ROC compliances. So फ्रेंड्स हम बात कर रहे हैं कि compliance के बारे में. उससे पहले we should learn about the role of consultant in compliance. एक कंसल्टेंट या प्रोफेशनली सिर्फ आपके टैक्स अफेयर्स, आपके टैक्स डेडलाइंस, आपके रिटर्न्स के डेडलाइन सबको फॉलो करता है, and he take care of all the business problems with respect to businesses. Without the help of a professional, a business owner cannot take care of his day-to-day business problems. Consultant consistently monitor and track the changing statutory norms. He continuously updates you regarding the monetary and fiscal policies that are affecting your business, the deadlines which are affecting your business, and continuously remind you that, sir, you have to file your return timely, otherwise you will be liable to some interest or penalty or late fees. So the consultant in profession is the only one who keeps you regularly update relating to taxation. I think we can safely say that without a consultant or professional behind your back, you cannot expand your business. You cannot grow your business. अभी रिसेंटली की बात है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के एक जज ने अपनी इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करने की कोशिश करी, and it took him one whole day. It took him one whole day to complete his income tax return, to file his income tax return. So you must be thinking, how complex is the filing of income tax return, and we professional do it in tax. So these are some of the complexities that the profession has to deal with regularly, and regarding the compliance, regarding the deadlines, regarding the income tax reply which has to be filed in the department, we all have to take care of all these problems. These are some of the instances that I can tell you that the consultant has to deal with. Other than that, there are many more instances in which a consultant uh, has to deal with. कभी आपने सोचा है कि अगर डेडलाइन फॉलो नहीं हुई, अगर if you do not comply with the deadlines, what would come to your mind? What would be the consequences of the non compliance? आपके दिमाग में सबसे पहले यही चीजें आती है कि लेट फीस लगेगी, पेनल्टी लगेगी, इंटरेस्ट लगेगा, कई कई केसेस में तो आपका डिसअलाउंस अट्रैक्ट हो जाता है, एंड इन सम सिवियर केसेस आपके प्रोसिक्यूशन भी आ सकता है. Yes, friends, there are provisions in income tax laws, GST laws, which attract a prosecution if you don't file your returns, if you don't comply with the notices timely. आपने देखा होगा कि अगर हम कभी भी जीएसटी की ड्यू डेट मिस करते हैं तो जीएसटी की वेबसाइट ऑटोमेटिकली आपके आउटवर्ड लायबिलिटी में लेट फीस की लायबिलिटी भी ऐड कर देती है. सो फ्रेंड्स, लेट फीस लायबिलिटी हो गई, आपका इंटरेस्ट हो गया. इन सम केसेस डिपार्टमेंट ऑल्सो इश्यूज यू interest notices, interest recovery notices, and we have all seen that 16(4) cases that that we had not filed 3B on time on the due date, and we missed the September deadline, and because of that 16(4) notices has been issued, and the recovery has been made by department. And in some cases, due to some evasion in GST or income tax, even prosecution was there. So there are many consequences of non compliance, but compliance करने से हमारे बेनिफिट भी बहुत सारे मिलते हैं. कभी आपने सोचा है कि अगर डेडलाइंस फॉलो होगी तो आपको क्या बेनिफिट्स होंगे, आपको क्या आपके प्रोफाइल में बिल्डअप मिलेगा? Yes friends, better civil rating, आपकी क्रेडिट रेटिंग बढ़ेगी, you would get easier loans, you would get easier funds. आप अगर कहीं बाहर घूमने जाने का सोच रहे हैं, या फिर आप अगर बाहर आउटसाइड इंडिया बिजनेस ट्रैवल्स ले जा रहे हैं, तो इट हेल्प्स यू इन वीजा प्रोसेसिंग. आजकल वीजा के लिए आप जाते हैं तो आपको क्लाइंट्स आपके इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न, आपके बिजनेस के जीएसटी रिटर्न, दे ऑल सी दोस थिंग्स. उसमें वो चेक करता है whether you have filed whether you have filed these things timely, whether there are no issues, whether there are no recovery notices from you. Even in some cases there are certain schemes जहाँ पे आपके compliance का benefit आपको schemes avail करने में मिलता है. तो आज हम बात करने जा रहे हैं 4 तरीके की compliances के: GST, income tax, registration and corporate compliance. GST compliance, yes friends, GST compliance क्या हुई? GSTR 1, GSTR 3B, GSTR 9, GSTR 9C, these are all included in part of GST compliance. Even in income tax, the deadlines have been extended due to COVID pandemic. Income tax returns, income tax notice replies have also been extended. For registration purpose, there are some deadlines also extended for registration purpose. Let's start with registration. So Who needs registration? Any person. अगर आप GST registration की बात करें, if we talk about GST registration, any person whose turnover during the previous year exceeds 40 lakhs in goods and 20 lakhs in services, he has to get mandatory GST registration. Similarly, if you are dealing in the industry of food or food warehousing, you need to get a FSI license registration. It can be either central or state. Similarly, for MSME certificate, आजकल MSME की बहुत सारी बातें हो रही है. Previously, in yesterday's session, we also discussed about MSME. For getting MSME certificate, you need to apply in Udyog Aadhaar registration. And to whom it is available? It is available to manufacturing or service sector only. Similarly, we need to require trade license to for those people, for those persons who need to trade in the particular municipal limit. अगर आप कोई export या import के business में, if you are exporting any if you are in the business of export of goods or import of goods or services, you need to require an import export certificate. Similarly, if you want to register your if you want to copyright or patent any logo, product or design of yours, you need to apply for a trademark registration. In the case, if you want to register your company or you want to register a trust or NGO or LLP or partnership, even your individual proprietorship, you need to get registered in some act. Now let's talk about GST. Recently, the government has introduced COVID pandemic deadlines, and they have revised their notifications of April through notifications number 51 to 2020, 52 2020, dated 24 June 2020. For assessees having turnover of more than 5 crore rupees. Friends, firstly, we have to understand that the government has not extended the due date. They have simply extended the waiver date, and they have extended the waiver date. They are providing you waiver till a particular date, and up to this date, if you file your returns, you would not be levied late fees. If you file your if you file your returns timely under this date, you will have to pay interest at a nominal rate. For the month of February, the government has extended the date up to June 24. Earlier, it was March 20. Similarly, for March month, it has for March and April, the deadlines were 24 June. The deadlines have been passed, but since many people are now also filing their returns, we should understand that the late fees would be levied from the due date, and also we have to deposit interest not at the waiver rate, but at the 18% per annum rate. That rate which was general rate earlier also. For the month of May 2020, the assessee having turnover more than 5 crores. The due date, the extended date is 27 June. Yes, friends, today is the last date to file GST returns for assessees having turnover more than 5 crore rupees for the person filing the month return for the month of May. Similarly, for June, it has been extended to July 20. That is normal deadlines. For June and July, the normal deadlines are there. There's no notification has been there which has extended these deadlines. Now talking about for assessees having turnover up to rupees 5 crores. Previously, in the April notification, government has defined 3 types of categories of assessees. Assessees having turnover of less than 1.5 crores, assessees having turnover more than 1.5 crores and less than 5 crores, and more assessees having turnover more than 5 crores. By this notification dated 24 June 2020, the government has divided it only 2 types: more than 5 crores and less than 5 crores. The government has already notified the staggered return filing manner, in which they have divided the states into 2 categories: category 1 states and category 2 states. Category 1 states, you all know, covers Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, or the Union Territories of Daman and Diu, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, Puducherry, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Lakshadweep. So, talking about, I must again remind you that the government has not extended the due date. They have simply given us a waiver date. That is, if you file your returns up to this date, you would not be levied, as the case may be, no late fees, no interest. And if your turnover is more than 5 crores, you would be levied some interest, but at a nominal rate. So talking about return for the GSTR 3B return for the month of February, the waiver date has been given June 30th. For the month of March, the waiver date has been given July 3rd, and for the month of April, it has been given July 6th. After that, for the month of May, June, and July, the government has extended these due dates variedly, and the new dates are September 12, 2020, September 23rd, 2020, September 27th, 2020. These returns are to be filed in staggered manner, allowing the businessmen to deposit their tax on time. The government has notified through its notification number 51/2020 and 52/2020 these rates. So the late fees would not be levied to you for all those persons who are filing their GST 3B returns up to these dates. But there is a catch. The interest would be levied. The not till the waiver date, but after the waiver date and before the 30th June, the 30th September. If you file your return, the it would be levied. Interest would be levied at a lower rate of 9%. And if you file your returns for the month of February, March, April, May, June, July, the interest would be levied from at 18% from the due date. There, friends, let me tell you, there has been no extension of waiver of late fees. If you file till the waiver date, there would be no late fees levied. But if you file your return after the waiver date, fees would be levied retrospectively from the due date. And these are the dates for the category 1 state, which you can from the screen. Can you read? Chhattisgarh, it includes Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, or Andhra Pradesh, or Union Territories. Similarly, for category 2 states, the dates are for the month of February, it is June 30. For the month of March, it is July 5. For the month of April, it is July 9. For the month of May, it is September 15. For the month of June, it is September 25th. And for the month of July, it is September 20th. Friends, these dates have been notified in notification number 51/2020, 52/2020, and 54/2020, dated 24 June. So you must all be thinking why the government extended these deadlines on the same date, on the last date or last waiver date of for assessees having turnover of more than 5 crores. See, you see, the government is trying to tell you that they will not extend the waiver dates after these dates. So you must advise your clients, your businessmen, that you have to file your returns timely. Otherwise, there would be a lot of consequences. You would be levied late fees. You would be levied interest, not at just the waiver rate, but at the 18% rate from the due date. We have to understand that these waiver dates are important for us to file returns. Similarly, there are some relaxation in filing of return. For government has introduced a very important notification for assessees who have not filed their income GST returns for the month of for the period July 17 to March 18, for April 18 to March 19, and for March 19 to January 2020. The government has opened a window where you can file your GST 3B of these dates without paying any excess penalty. The interest would be levied. There would be no claim of ITC for the period of 1718 and 1819. But you can file your GST returns. The late fees would be capped at a maximum amount of rupees 500 to 50 SGST, to 50 CGST, depending upon your state. But this waiver has been given till 30th September 2020 only. For the period of April 19 to March January 20, you can still avail your ITC. But for the period of 17-18, for persons who are filing their GSTR 3B returns now, you cannot claim ITC. You can just fill the ITC amount, but you will not be able to avail those ITC. Friends, we have to very clearly understand for the period of July 17 to March 18 and for April 18 to March 19, we cannot claim any ITC because the due dates have been passed. Now talking about GSTR 1, there have been certain relaxation in filing of returns for GSTR 1. The government earlier by the notification by April notification extended the dates to 30th June. But by this notification dated notification number 53/2020, the government has again extended the late fees date, and for the month of March now you can file your GSTR 1 up to July 10, 2020. For the month of April 2020, you can file your return up to July 24, 2020. For the month of May 2020, you can file your returns up to July 28, 2020. And for the month of the June, you can file your return up to August 5, 2020. Also, for the quarter ending, for those persons who have opted GSTR 1 quarterly scheme, they can file their returns of January to March 2020 up to 17 July. And for the quarter ending on June 2020, they can file their returns up to August 3, 2020. We have to clearly understand these are the waiver dates. These are not the due dates. You have to file these return up to the waiver date, or the late fees would be levied retrospectively from the due date. Now we will talk about income tax due dates. The income tax return for the assessment year 2019-20. Friends, we all know that up to assessment year 1920, we can file our returns up to March 2020, but by paying late fees. Now the government has extended this deadline and we can file our return up to 31st July 2020. My friends, we have to understand that here we have to pay the penalty under section 234 and the interest under section 234 ABC. The government has given no waiver in these for the penalty or interest. They have simply extended the time period up to 31st July 2020. Similarly, for income tax returns of assessment year 2021, that is year ending on March 20, the income tax return, which was earlier to be filed up by July 31st, has been extended by government by notification dated 25 June 2020. The government has extended this date up to 30th November 2020. The government has extended this period for 4 months. The government has extended the due date for filing of income tax return up to 4 months. But here also, there is a catch. We have to pay interest if there is a liability of interest under section 234A, B, or C. Similarly, for furnishing of audit report, the audit season that we say is up to 30th September. The government has already extended the audit season to 31st October 2020. In the April, government announced in the April month, the government also announced that we can claim deduction for the year ending on March 20 up to 30th June. By this notification dated 25th June 2020, the government has again extended the deadline by 1 more month, and you can claim your deduction under section 80C, 80D, 80G, or any other deduction up to 31st July 2020 for the year ending on March 20. Similarly, for person claiming benefit under capital gain under section 54 to 54 GB of Income Tax Act, the date for making investment, construction, purchase has also been further extended to 30th September 2020. These are some of the also. Now talking about TDS returns. We all know that the TDS return earlier, the date was 30th June. But now by this notification also, the government has extended the due date for TDS returns. and now we can file our TDS Q4 returns for year ending on March 20 up to 31st July 2020. Also, for government offices, where the date was 15 days earlier, the government has extended this date also by 1 month, and now the date is 15 July 2020. Similarly, for TCS, the government has extended the TCS return date up to 31st July 2020. And for government offices who are filing in, TCS returns, the date has been extended to 15 July 2020. Now, sorry. Now talking about ROC form state. Uh, Director DIS, we all file the ROC compliances. In the ROC compliances, we have to file KYC of directors. And earlier the date was 30th June, but due to this COVID pandemic time, the government has extended the dates for ROC compliances. And for direct KYC of directors, the government has extended the due date to 30th 9 2020. That is 30th September 2000. Similarly, for deposits, the government has extended the date to 30th September. For MSME payments, the government has extended the date up to 31st October. For return to register in respect of declaration under Section 90, the government has extended the date to 30th September. For filing of financial statement to ROC, that is a very big change affecting us. The government has extended this date to 29th October 2020. Similarly, for Form AOC4, filing of consolidated financial statements and other documents to registrar, the government has extended this date also to 29th October 2020. Filing of XBRL forms has also been extended. Filing of secretarial audit report has also been extended, and annual return has been extended to 28th November 2020. So friends, we need to understand that all these compliances are affecting us professionals, and we have to continuously remind our business, our clients and our business owner that you need to file the returns, you need to file all the compliances timely, otherwise it would attract heavy interest or penalties, and even in some cases disallowances or prosecution. These are some more dates, like for the form of MGT8 certificate by company secretary. These have also been extended. These are some dates you can see on your computer or screen. Notice to registrar for appointment of auditor has also been extended. A very important date for all the professionals. The date has been extended up to 14th October 2020. These are some more dates for the LLPs, for the cost audit, for the share capital audit report. These have also been extended, and the government has passed a notification again for these. Now, talking about tax strategies, friends, we all know that this is the time to file income tax returns, and we need to start making investment. We need to tell our clients that you have to make investment in a TC or a TD or many other investment. You need to make donations to claim tax reductions to reduce your tax liability. To reduce your tax liability, you need to start planning, and you need to consult your clients that you need to start making these plannings, otherwise you will not be able to reduce your tax liability. Friends, this is all for today. Thank you for allowing me on this opportunity, and thank you for listening to me. Now I would like to hand over the mic to Soul. Thank you, Uzu, for allowing me to talk on this platform.
Thank you, Ribhav. Thank you for your wonderful insights. I think as fellow practitioners and also business owners, some really key points highlighted by Ribhav, especially in terms of due dates with regards to GST and income tax, and also some great insights on ROC filing. These are certain aspects which we tend to neglect, but good timely updation from Ribhav has always helped us. Thank you. Now, moving on to our next speaker, CA Prashant Gupta ji. Prashant ji has a work experience of over 16 years with various multinationals like General Electronics, ICICI Bank, Deutsche Bank, etc. But apart from going into normal CA practice field, Prashant ji is an entrepreneur. He has been digitalizing the businesses and automating them over the past years. Today, I would request Prashant ji to kindly elaborate further on how digitalization, both in marketing terms and also business automation, will be helping us. I hereby invite CA Prashant Gupta for our topic on digital marketing and business digitalization. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Sohil, and thanks, Uzu, for giving the opportunity to speak. As Sohil talked about my profile, I am not a regular practicing chartered accountant. I have been doing digitalization and technological improvements with businesses. So today I'll be talking about those things. So do not think that since you are into a practicing profession, these things will not be useful. These are the tools and things which are useful for any kind of business, and you can use it for your own business as well as you can use it for your client's business. So these are anyways helpful for all of us. And considering the fact that we are talking about reboot and revive of business after this COVID pandemic, it becomes more important to learn about digital marketing and digitization. And digital marketing is not just about selling products online, it is about creating your own brand online, whether you are a professional or you are a businessman or whatever kind of thing you are doing. So we'll start with the presentation. So first of all, I have a small introduction on what is digital marketing and why we need to go for it. So basically, the purpose for which we do digital marketing is to create a brand value. So like whatever brand you are, whether you are a single person practicing as an independent person, or you are a firm of many professionals, or you are into a business, you are always a brand and you carry a value in the market which you need to increase. And why we need to increase this value? We need to increase this value to gain new customers. We need to increase value for entering new markets and for providing new services. So for example, if you are practicing only for income tax, say for example, and you create a brand value so that people understand you as an expert in income tax, then you can have new customers by that brand value. People will talk about your expertise. You can enter into new markets. So if you are providing services only in one city, you can open another office in another city and do business there. And then along with your income tax practice, you can add more services to your bouquet. So you can add maybe some taxation services or some other loan, financing, insurance, those kind of businesses to your portfolio. So once you have a brand value created, it is easier to gain new customers and enter new markets. Now we'll talk about some of the tools that you can use to digitally market yourself over the internet and to create your brand. Some of these tools are free, some are paid, but more or less you can use it. We'll talk about the pricing also, like how much you need to pay in case you go for paid tools. So first thing I would like to recommend everybody is to create an online business profile on Google. So this is a free service from Google, and many people are not aware about it. They do not make use of it. But you may have seen that when you search for a business name or a profession name on Google, you sometimes see a portfolio, a business portfolio alongside the search results. So I'll just give you an example. So suppose I enter this company name on Google search. Along with the search results, I also see a snapshot of the business at right side of the page. And this is a primary snapshot that appears if you search on mobile. So this kind of a snapshot is provided when you are listed on Google as a business. And the process is very easy. You can see that within this snapshot, you have a button to directly visit the website of this particular business. You can see the direction using the maps on your phone. Then you have their address, you have the hours when they are opening and closing, then you have the contact number. So it becomes so easy for people to find you and reach you in case you are listed on Google. And this is a completely free service. So what you need to do is you need to go on business.google.com. you must have a Gmail or a Google account, like maybe a Gmail or a personalized account also you can use. Then you need to add your location with your name, address, website, phone number, and all the details that are available there, and create a listing. Now, the important thing is that anybody can create a listing. So I can create a listing with the name and address of yours business. So that is not allowed. So Google basically vouch for the correctness of listing. So what they do is they send you a postcard on the registered address which you have mentioned in the listing. So you get a physical mail postcard, and that postcard has a code. So when you receive the postcard after 4 or 5 days after creating the listing, then you need to enter that code on your listing to verify the listing on Google. And the moment your listing is verified, it starts appearing in the search results. So if anybody is searching for your name, and this is not just for companies, so you can have a person name registered also as a business. So Mr. XYZ chartered accountant working on from a particular office can also register his name as a business with a location and a phone number, and then he will start appearing in the Google results when someone searches for their name. And maybe you have seen on your mobile phone that if you type restaurant, then you get a suggestion, restaurants near me. When you click on restaurants near me, Google lists all the restaurants in your vicinity, so in the location around you. So that is based on the location, geolocation targeting. So if your business is listed and it has a location, and if someone in your area searches for a service, then your name will appear and the person can directly call you and connect with you. Now, there is one important thing which I want to highlight. This service is not advertisement. So you are not paying anything to create this listing. This is simply a directory listing. So even if you are a chartered accountant, company secretary, advocate, it will not be violation of your professional ethics if you do this. So it is just a directory listing, and since it is not an advertisement, it is just like having your name on Google. Now this is completely free. You can do it after the session ends, and within 2-3 days you will be listed on Google if you're not already listed. And thereafter, once you create this listing, you can do some more stuff, like you can add photos, you can add your certifications, you can add your videos, maybe client videos or something like related to your profession if it is allowed. And then you can ask people to review your listing if your clients who have dealt with you and who are kind of connected with you, so you can ask them to review your business. So the more ratings you have on business, the more likely your business is to appear as a first result, in spite of searching for a keyword. So for example, if someone does not search for your name but they search for your service, then also your result can appear if you are in that location, and if you have photos, videos and reviews of your business. So this is the first thing I wanted to share with you, that everybody can do it. It is free. So just go ahead and do this. The second thing I wanted to mention for digital marketing perspective is that, you know, whenever you deal with your client and whenever you interact online, it is all about the image that we create for ourselves and our business. So mostly 95%, I would say 95% people use Gmail accounts, Hotmail account, and Yahoo account. So that is kind of a free service. I understand that, but it has a very impact, like it has a very deep impact on the people with whom you interact when you communicate with them using Gmail or a Google account. So there is, like, suppose you have an email address prashant18@gmail.com or anything else, and if you are lucky you can have prashant@gmail.com if that is not registered, but still it is a free service. But at the same time you can have another email account like prashant@runtime.com. So it gives your brand a name. Whenever you give your email address to someone, whenever you give your business card to someone, it always communicate your business name. So it is an automatic branding, and this is not a very expensive affair. So I will tell you, if you book a domain name, say for example a .com name, it costs around 650-700 rupees. And if you start or set up an email service on that domain name, for one email address, it's got around 1500 per year. So that is 2200 approximately for 1 year. So with this small amount, you can have a very good impact on your brand when you share your email address and when you write emails to your clients. So this is something you can go ahead and do. Now, one more thing, whenever you use email address, I have seen that many people use their either their family photo or their kids or their pets or some scenery or some background as their profile image. So what I would recommend is that always keep one email address as your personal email address that you can use for your bank related transactions, for your shopping related transactions and everything, and always use another email address as your primary business email address. So whenever you communicate with your clients, use your business email address and never have your profile photo as a personal photo or a family photo or pet photo. Use either your business name or have a professional profile of yours. If you are a single person, use your single person profile photo, because whenever the mail goes to someone and they opens it again, it is something which goes into the subconscious of the person who is reading your mail. So we have to take care of marketing ourselves every time. It is not just that when you meet a person you have to be dressed well or you have to speak well. It is always a case, even if you are communicating with email, even if you are communicating on mobile phone, you should always take care of creating your brand image in such a way that there is a trust, there is a value in your name. So do try to do this kind of thing. The third thing I would like to recommend for digital marketing is start writing. Now this is something which is difficult to do, but it is not very difficult that you need some special kind of skill set or some special kind of language command to do it. Everybody can do it, but it is just that it requires efforts and time, so people are not willing to spend that much time. But this can go a long way in creating your online digital reputation and building your brand value. And the way you create content is either you use a free platform. So free platforms are like blogs, online blogs, where you can post your articles. Now at this point I would like to suggest, suppose you are a practicing chartered accountant or practicing advocate, there will always be certain topics on which you feel comfortable and you have a command. So you think I have knowledge on this particular topic and you prefer to practice in that particular topic, and maybe you are doing some other things but you have some expertise. So always use that expertise to write about it. And it is not, do not think that nobody is going to read it, nobody will care what you have written. There are always audience for a good content. So if you start creating articles about the topic that you like and that you have expertise into, then try writing small articles and try posting it on free platforms. So this does not cost anything, it only costs your time. Now, one of the free platform is medium.com. So this is a very popular and very upcoming platform right now these days. The reason it is popular is it has writers from around the world, and the way Medium works is whenever someone views your article, it pays you. So basically, I'm not saying that you use this platform to generate money, but I'm saying if you start writing and if you start creating some articles, maybe say you write one article or two article every week, every Saturday or Sunday, you take some time out and start writing and you create some content, then there will be readers about it. And if you write well, slowly your writing will also improve. Then people will start following you on this platform. And once people start following you, whenever you publish something new, they will get a notification and they will start reading. So as long as your readers are there and your views are increasing, you will start generating some revenue over the period of time. So this is not something which will happen in 1 month or maybe 2 months. It may take 4 to 5 months to reach a level where there are sufficient readers and Medium starts paying you for your views. So you can consider that as a motivation. Do not make it as your primary intention to make money, but take it as a motivation. And always, whenever you write articles, mention your contact details, mention your email address or your phone number or the services that you render, so that the people who read it can come back to you for business. So if you are writing about a topic and you are showing your expertise about it, people can come back to you and take your services or take your consulting. You can do that. Now the second option is starting your own blog. So this is for more serious engagement. So if you kind of have love for writing and if you like to write, then you can start your own personal blog and write there. So this is not a free option. It will cost you some money. Like I mentioned in the previous slide, you have to book a domain name, and then you have to host it somewhere. So that will again cost you around 2000, 2500 rupees a year. And then you can do your own blogging there. The benefits of starting your own blog is you will have complete control over the content. You can create your own categories and you can start posting there. You can have pictures, you can have videos, you can do all the stuff that you want to do. It is like a website, but it will be primarily focused on content. So you will be writing on some topic. So you can cover income tax, GST, and other things, whatever you want to cover, you can do that. Now, again, as a motivation, not as the intention, but later when your blog becomes popular, when you are writing consistently and people are visiting your blog, you can place Google ads on your blog. So this is again not something which is unprofessional to do. It is a normal practice. Whenever a website becomes famous or a blog becomes famous, they run Google ads, and when people click on those ads, you get paid for it. So as a side stream of income, you can develop this writing, and then you can at one place you will be creating your brand, and then second place you will be earning some money out of it. So you can reinvest that money to generate more content, or maybe do some more stuff about it. Now, two things are very important here. Writing consistently is very important. You cannot expect results by writing 2 or 3 or 4 articles. So you have to fix a writing schedule. Maybe what you can do is, if you work on from Monday to Saturday, suppose. So on Saturday, you can close your office 2 hours early, and close your office in the sense that public viewing stops 2 hours early. And then you take those 2 hours to write something, and commit to yourself that you will do it every Saturday. And even if you write one article, slowly you will gain speed, and you may be creating 2 or 3 articles in your 2 hour, 3 hour sitting time. And that schedule and that consistency is very important to be successful in this particular way. Now, these were the 3 things that I recommended for digital marketing. And now we will move on to digitization. So how we can digitize our business, and what are the tools we can use to digitize our business, especially after this pandemic. See, digitization is not something new. Every business which is like trying to beat the competition is digitizing, and it is the only way forward with which you can beat the competition and stand aside from the crowd. So this is not an option, this is a necessity as of now. And if you do it, you will reap the benefits. If you do not do it, then you will suffer the consequences. So it is as clear as that. You simply cannot avoid digitization in your business. And maybe right now also you are doing some sort of, you maybe using some sort of tools for digitization, and whatever I'm going to tell you, maybe you are already doing some of that stuff, but still you can learn something. So the first and foremost important thing is secure your data. I just want you to imagine a situation like, suppose you have your office and you have 5-7 people who are working with you, 5-7 computers on which you have data. And just imagine a situation that one day you come to office and all the data on your computers is gone. So can you think of continuing your business for even one day if all the data on your computers is gone? I don't think that is possible in today's world. So all your client data, everything, returns, files, accounting, everything is on your computer. And it has become so important to secure your data that in case you lose it, you may actually lose your business. Now, what are the reasons for these losses? So one is hard disk failure. So I'll talk about, because this topic is very important, so I'll give you some examples along the side. A couple of years back, one of my friend had this. So he's not running a business. It was a personal case, but still I'll tell you the example. So he had a hard disk crash and he lost entire data. Now this data was not related to business or something, but it had his personal pictures, family videos, photographs, and a lot of other things like school stuff, everything. So even if it was not a business data, it became so important for him to resume his normal life to get this data back. Now he took this hard disk to a computer repair shop who then advised to go to some specialized shop for data recovery. So there are some specialized shops and people who do only data recovery thing. And then he took this hard disk to that person. He was able to recover around 70-80% of the data. But after he recovered the data, he did not tell his pricing at the beginning. At the beginning, he said it will cost around 500-1,000 rupees to recover the data. But after he recovered and he saw that there was around 100 GB of data on the hard disk, which was personal things. So people are always, more inclined towards recovering those kind of things. So he understood the client's weakness, and he charged around 8,000 rupees to give that data. So he has to pay it, and he got the data back. But that can happen. That may not happen. If the hard disk failure is beyond recovery, you may actually lose your data. And if it is a business data, then obviously these people know that this is very critical. So they may charge you even higher. So why to get into that kind of situation? Now, second example I want to share with you is ransomware. So we usually think that these kind of things happen with big MNC, big companies, or maybe not in India, it happened outside of India. But let me tell you, one of my client got a ransomware attack last year only. So they are into digital publishing. So they do a magazine on astrology, and they publish this magazine across India. And one of their employee received an email on his computer. He opened that email and there was some attachment. So I think he ran that attachment. He double clicked on the attachment or something like that. And they have around 7 computers in their office premises. All the 7 computers were connected on the same network. So the moment he clicked that file, all the 7 computers' data was encrypted. And encryption means the data was not deleted, but you cannot access that data. So if you have a document or if you have an Excel file, if you try to click on it, it will not open. It says the file is corrupted. So that kind of thing happened. So they called me up and they said that this thing has happened. And I asked them, what is the follow-up? Like if someone has infected your computer, they must have asked for some ransom. So they said they have received an email, another email from the same sender, and he's asking for 1 Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, Bitcoin is around $7,000 to $8,000, and that goes like you can estimate how much money was involved. So they obviously could not pay it. So for at least 5 days, all the staff and everyone in their office were just sitting, and they were not able to do anything with their computers because all their work was digital. And everything, they lost around 20 years of data. So they were publishing this magazine from 20 years. So earlier it was a paper magazine, then they made a digital edition, and all the data was lost. And they had no backups, nowhere they kept the files. What we think is we can put 2 hard disks in our computer. We can use 1 hard disk as a primary hard disk and back up the data on the second hard disk. That is not a backup, because if your computer is infected, everything inside is gone. And even if you have a backup computer on your network, which you do not use, and you think that you copied your data to that computer and you can use it as a backup, that is also not a backup, because some infections are like that. They spread across the network. So all the computers are damaged. So that kind of thing happened. And then we were able to use some tools, and we were able to seek advice from some experts, and they were able to recover some 10% of their data. And it was also the files that were recently deleted. So somehow those files were recovered and they were able to start. But anyways, they lost big time on this particular crash. So that is the seriousness of protecting your data. And you obviously do not want to end up in such a situation. Now, once we talk about securing your data and what are the risks, then I'll talk about how we can protect your data. So there are tools. You must have heard of Google Drive. Usually we use these tools for backing up our photos. So Google has a facility that whenever you click a photo on your Android phone, it automatically backs up to your cloud. And we think that, okay, it is so fancy. We can click photo here and then it appears on your browser in the cloud. So all the photos are backed up. But you have not think about using the same service for backing up your office data also. So Google Drive is one thing. OneDrive is from Microsoft, and Amazon has a service called S3. So these are the three. There are many other services, but I'm talking about the basic ones which you start using right away. So Google Drive offers 15 GB of free space. OneDrive offers GB of free space, And Amazon has a complicated model, so you pay as you go. So there is no limit to the space, but whatever you consume, you pay for it. So just to give you an estimate, if you use around 100 GB of data, you will be billed around $7 a month. So that is a rough average. Now, how these softwares work. So basically, what you need to do is whatever computer whatever is the primary computer in your business where you want to secure the data, what you need to do is create one folder and call it like whatever business or important or whatever, and then create multiple folders within that folder and store all your important data in that folder. Now, this one folder can be linked to your Google Drive. You have to download and install a desktop software. For Google Drive, it is called Google Backup and Sync Manager. For OneDrive, it is called OneDrive simply. So you can download the software on your computer and link them with the particular folder that you want to backup and put everything that is important related to client, related to business in that folder. You can create multiple folders within that, bifurcate the data as per your needs, but that folder will start syncing with Google Drive. Now, what happens is whenever you put a new file into that folder, it will automatically upload to cloud. So you have everything backed up to the cloud. Now, if you delete something from your drive, it is also deleted from the cloud, but there is a backup of 30 days within the cloud also. So suppose you accidentally deleted a folder or file on your local computer. It is not immediately deleted from the cloud. It stays there for 30 days and you can either recover it from cloud or you can, it will automatically delete after 30 days. So that way these software work. Now, suppose in case of hard disk crash, you lose everything on your computer. So obviously you will get your hard disk formatted, or you install a new hard disk and you install your operating system again, whatever you do. All you need to do is install Google Drive, start syncing your data, and it will create that folder and download everything back to the normal. So you can start instantly from the where you left. And in case of ransomware attack or a virus attack, which basically does not delete or corrupt your data, it basically encrypts your data. So in case of encryption, we need to be careful about one thing, that the moment you detect your data is encrypted, you need to disconnect your computer from internet. Because the way these sync software work is, whatever is there on your computer, it will automatically sync to the online server. So if your data is encrypted on your computer, they will start syncing the new data to the server. So we need to avoid that, and we need to disconnect the computer from internet so that your data in the cloud is safe and you can recover it later on. So there are desktop clients for both these solutions. For Amazon, it is a bit complicated process, and the way it works is for bigger data sizes and for larger file systems, when you cannot upload just through this software, you can have Amazon installed on your computer, and it runs in batches. So you can schedule a backup at every night or every midnight. So it automatically uploads everything to cloud, and then it can download again from the cloud in case of a local failure or something like that. So you can contact some technical person, because this is not something you can set up on your own. But in case your requirements are big and you have a large data to backup, then you can certainly go with Amazon S3 also. Regarding Google and OneDrive also, if you have larger data requirements, you can buy additional space. So 15 GB and 5 GB is free, but you can buy additional space by paying some money. So they have plans, and then you can extend the usage. Now, next thing I want to talk about is to-do apps. This is a very important in case of productivity. So suppose you in your office, you have multiple people working on multiple things, and you are managing say returns, you are managing audits, you're managing client payments, you're tracking whether client has paid or not, billed or not. There are so many things that you need to do. And in most of the cases, in my experience, what I have seen is professionals usually do it using their memory. So they store everything in their memory, and they know that when is what thing due, and accordingly they act. But this practice is not very efficient, and it is not very efficient in terms of productivity, in terms of delegation of authority, and many other things. So what you need to do is you need to have a to-do app. There are many options available. I will talk about one. This is Microsoft To Do. This is a very simple and a free application. You do not need to pay anything to use it. The way it works is you create lists. First of all, you create lists. So lists are basically category of tasks that you want to do. So suppose you created one list for audit, one for tax, then one for GST, and then something else. And then after creating these categories list, you add tasks in the list. So in GST, you can add filing return 3B for XYZ client, filing return 3B for ABC client, then GSTR1, GSTR, whatever you want to add, you can create multiple tasks in those lists. And then after creating the task, you can set due date for those tasks. So basically setting due date is you will receive a reminder that this task is due today, and you can plan your work for months or weeks in advance. So if you want to plan for 1 week, you can do that. If you want to plan for 1 year, you can do that. So you can have due dates for the entire year, and you at one glance of the this particular application, you will know that these are the things that I need to do, and these are the due dates, and this is all that I need to care about. So you do not have to depend on your memory. You will know what is required to be done and when it is required to be done. The next step is you can set recurring task also. So if in case of a return, it has to be filed every month, 3B is to filed every month. So you can set a recurring reminder on, say, if the due date is 20th of every month, you can set a reminder of 15th. And you can ask your client that please send the data, the return is due. So it basically automatically reminds you. You do not have to rely on the memory every time. Then another good feature is if you have multiple people in your company who are working on different things, you can assign these tasks to your team members also. So you can share your list with the multiple people, and those people can be assigned the task. So if I am assigned, suppose there are 5 tasks in the list and you assign me 3 tasks, then I will see 3 tasks assigned to me, and I can focus on only those 3 tasks. So accordingly, every team member can focus on their own task, and you can manage the entire work from one place. So it is a online tool, free tool, no data loss, nothing, no risk like that. So you can start using it, sign it up and do it. I'll just show you a quick example because I have kept it for demonstration purposes. So this is a to-do screen. These are the lists that I have created. So I have created one list for audit, one for GST return, then pending payments. If I click on audit, I see there are 2 tasks in it. So Prabhat Industries internal audit, Sri Narayan housing tax audit. So these are the 2 tasks that I need to do related to audit. Then if I go to GST, I have further tasks. 3B1, I've created separate tasks. Now, suppose I click on this task, Prabhat Industries internal audit. I can see that I can assign a due date. So if suppose I want to complete this audit by end of this month, I'll add the date, pick a date from calendar, 30th of June, save it. So it is due on 30th of June now. I can add a reminder. So before due date, if I want to be reminded that, okay, this task is due, I can add reminders. Then I can assign people. If there are multiple people in my company, for example, I have created a list of 2 people. So I assigned it to myself. So now my this task is assigned to me. My photo is appearing here. So I know this has to be done. And then you can add notes to this task. So suppose there is a progress and you want to communicate that, okay, this is done and this is pending. We are waiting for some document or something like that. So you can add notes also. Similarly, other tasks. So this way you can manage your entire work from one single screen. So this is so effective. Now, the last thing for digitization I want to talk about is a CRM software. So it is continuation to the to-do list that we just talked about, but you know, in cases where your client size is big and your team size is also big. So suppose you have hundreds of clients and you have 20 team members, 50 team members. So it becomes very tedious to monitor all the activity in your business using a to-do list. So to-do list actually it becomes small in that case. So in those cases, you need a CRM software. Now, this is not something which is available for free, but there are many options in the market if you research about it. But for bigger businesses, it is a must-have, and I'm sure if you are operating at that scale, you must be using some sort of CRM software, if not one, maybe you are using multiple solutions to manage multiple things that we are going to talk about. So what a CRM software is, it is basically a customer relationship management. So you manage your relationship with your customer using a software, and everything related to the customer is in there, and you can see it and access it every time. So CRM software has some modules or some parts which we need to understand. So first and foremost is customer data. So suppose if today someone asks you that give me a list of all your customers. So either you will give some Excel file, you may have created some Excel file with the details of all your customer, their email address, their mobile number, something like that. Or you will have the data in the emails. So you will fish out the emails and create a list. But in case of large companies where the customer base is large, it is always good to have a CRM, and it helps you store the customer data in a proper manner. So you can have customer records. Within one customer, you can have multiple contact details. So for example, you created a company called XYZ Limited, and then in that company, there are 5 people which you are dealing with. So you are dealing with finance manager, you are dealing with the accounts manager, you are dealing with audit manager. So there are 5 different contacts. So you can store details of all those 5 people with their email ID, their mobile number, and link it to the single customer ABC Limited. So every time, whenever you pull the report, you know that what are my customers, what are their contact details. Second part is communication. So since you have emails and mobiles in your data, you can easily communicate with those customers. Now I'll just share an example. Suppose there is an update in the tax laws, or there is a change in date, like the way Ribhav was telling us that the dates are updated and keep on changing with new notifications. Now suppose there is a change and you want to communicate that change to all your customers. You just want to tell them that this date is extended and you can send the data on this date. Or just a lighter example, suppose there is some festival coming up and you want to greet all your customers. So right now, how do you do it? Since you have the data in your Excel file, either you create emails for each record and then send it across. So that is a very lengthy process and time consuming process. Now CRM helps you automate these things. So since you have all the data in the software, you can easily compose one email, maybe a greeting email, or maybe a tax related update, or maybe something else. Suppose you are writing articles like we discussed earlier, you are writing on Medium or you're writing on something else, and then you want to tell your clients that I have written an article on income tax latest amendments, and please refer to this article, go and read it, it will be useful for you. So this is something which you will not find many people doing it. So if you do it, then there is a value addition. There is a value that you add to your customer's life also. So they will get to read the good, valuable information, and you can communicate instantly to all of them. You can send the link and then people can come and read it. So that way it simplifies communication. Then transaction history. So in past, whatever transaction has happened with this customer, you know it instantly using a CRM. Otherwise, if suppose you are maintaining offline files, or you are maintaining tax software, suppose you are using a tax filing software, so it will tell you the income tax return. You are using another software for GST, so it will tell you the GST data. But you want to see when my client, when the audit was due, when the GST return was due, what I billed to my client, how much he paid to me, how much is left out. So all the transaction related to your customer can be stored here, and you can see it instantly. Suppose there is a change in management, so the account manager left and a new one came in. So this data you will not find in your taxation software. So CRM is something where you can keep these kind of history, and you can know across time span. Like if you want to see for last 1 year, whatever happened at your customer, you can see at one glance, okay, this is what happened with my customer. And accordingly, you can plan your services also. Queries and complaints is something which may not be applicable to professionals as such, but for companies who are either producing a product or giving a service, it is a very critical part of a CRM, because customers always come back with feedback. Either they like the product or they do not like the product. They have some suggestion, some improvement idea. That is something which has to be captured at a proper place where you can track it and you can incorporate in your further versions of the product. So a CRM helps you in maintaining all the queries and complaints and improve accordingly. Upsell and cross-sell. So upsell and cross-sell is something like when you have your customer data in the software and you know the transaction history, you know how the customer reacts, how the customer works, what is their business. You can even store data related to their turnover, their profitability, things like that. So with this data, you can analyze that this set of my customers, say so out of 100, there are 10 customers who can use a particular service which I am starting. So you may be starting something new, you may be starting some learning session, or you may be writing a book, or you may be writing something. So accordingly, you can identify those customers and you can upsell. Upsell is increasing the current ticket size. So if you are say rendering services for 10,000, you can upsell to 20,000. You can upgrade your customer to the next level. Cross sell is you are selling one thing and then you start selling another thing. So according to the customer need, you identify that, okay, this customer is buying X item. So item number Y may also be of interest to him. So you can cross sell also. And then document storage. So this is also very important. And I think most professionals can relate to this one. You may be storing your client's data like the PAN card, Aadhaar card, GST registration certificate, FSI license, import-export license. There are numerous documents of a client that you store in files. And then either you have a printed, photocopy which you store in the physical file, or maybe you have a digital copy stored in your computer somewhere, stored in the different folders made for different clients. But it is always hard to find the document when you need it. Unless you are very organized and using a very specific way to store the data on your computer, it becomes very hard to retrieve these documents when they are needed. So CRM software also helps you with this one. So if you have your customers' data, you can attach documents to those data. You can attach this Aadhaar card, income tax, PAN number, or GST registration certificate, or anything else. So you can have the storage online, and whenever you need this data, you can simply go to that customer, search that customer by name, and you will see the list of all the documents, and you can download whatever data is needed. So again, it protects you from local data failure or things that we discussed. And then it has everything in the cloud. So you can access it from a remote location also. So suppose you are not in office and you are on the move. So most of the CRM softwares are operatable from mobile also. So you can log in from your mobile, you access this customer data, you download the file, and then you send it to someone using WhatsApp. So that becomes very easy to manage your customer and serve your customer, help your customer on the way. So these are the major benefits of a CRM software. There are many other things that CRM helps. But I think if you are growing in your business, and if you have plans to grow in future, then you must implement a CRM strategy, and you can research online. I'll share some of the software. So there is one called Fresh Desk. It starts with 999 per month per user. So if you have more users, you pay accordingly. And then there is something called Zoho CRM. So this is a new, they have launched a new CRM for small businesses, and they charge around 1,080 rupees per month per user. And then Salesforce, I think everybody must have heard of Salesforce. They are the market leaders. They are the world leaders in CRM. And they have many plans. They have many features. So you can customize your requirement accordingly. They create a pricing plan for you. But basically, it starts from $25 per month per user. So these are approximate pricing that I have given you. So that's about the CRM software I wanted to talk about. And let's now summarize what we have discussed. So in digital marketing, what you can do is you can right away go and list your business on Google if not already done. You start using branded emails with professional photos or logos of your business. Stop using personal email address and personal photographs. Start creating and writing content because it is said that content is king. So you must start creating content and be consistent. For digitization, we have discussed we should secure our data with cloud backup. It is very important because it can cost you a lot if you do not implement a backup strategy. Manage your work with to-do apps in case your team size is small. If your client size is small, you can manage using to-do apps. In case your business is big and large number of clients are there, use a CRM software. So these are the few points that I discussed, and just want to mention that this is just a tip of an iceberg. So like you see in this photograph, there is an iceberg and you see only 10-15% of it. So what I have shown you is just 5-10%, 15% of the total strategies that you can implement to digitally market or to digitize your business. Now for the question answers, if you have any questions, just raise your hand, let me know. Thanks for listening. And you have the contact information available on your screen. So in case you want us to help in implementing any of the digitization in your business or for digital marketing, you can contact us. So details are there on the screen.
Hello everyone. Prashant ji, I think it was an par excellent session, especially with all the insights on how can we take steps to make our life easy. आज हम सिर्फ बात करते हैं digitalization की, automation की, but एक real life practical experience बहुत जरूरी था. And thank you very much for all the viewers. We will also be sharing the PPT soon. We have already shared in various groups, but एक बार फिर से we will share. I actually, Prashant ji, had couple of questions over on chat. Is there anyone who wants to ask personally? They can please raise their hands. So Mr. Ranjit Mundra ji would like to go. I request Ranjit ji to kindly ask his question, please. Ranjit ji. I think Ranjit ji is not able to hear us. So I'll take on the next question. Mr. Shikhar Sharma would like to ask.
So hi Prashant sir, so this is Shikhar. So I just wanted to ask that whenever you are saying about that we can back up the data. So when I back up my data in my hard disk, my external hard disk, and when you are saying that when the data got corrupted in my computer, so is it possible that when I attach my hard disk and all the data which I've already backed up, it also get corrupted?
See, there are two things. So once you back up your data in your external hard disk, it is not connected to your computer. So suppose you back up the data and disconnect the hard disk. So obviously the hard disk is not connected to your computer and safe. But there is an irony in it. The thing is that if the hard disk stays there, you backed up data and you forget about it and you do not use it for say 6 months or 8 months and your hard disk is lying in your drawer and it is not used, it is most likely that it will get corrupted automatically. So the thing is, if we keep the electronics keep working, then they stay in good shape. But the moment you put them aside for 6 months and do not use it, then there are physical and environmental hazards by which they get corrupted automatically. So it is an irony. If you use it, if you connect it to your computer, then there is a risk of loss in case your computer is failed. And if you do not connect it, then there is a risk of loss on an automatic mode.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prashant. So sorry, I just have one more question. So can I ask that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please, Shikhar ji, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So Prashant, when you're telling that we have that to-do list, that live.todo.live.com. So there is a app in Office 365 which is the OneNote, in which we have created our to-do list and we can create multiple categories and we can plan the things accordingly and we can save it in OneDrive as well. So just wanted to just curious to know that what is the difference between that to-do list and the OneNote, which can already be connected to the OneDrive, and can we use the OneNote as a substitute of Live To Do?
You see, OneNote is a completely different offering. OneNote is for note taking. So the way you do it, you create different pages. It is like a notebook, like you carry a notebook in your hand. So it has different pages and then you take notes in it and then you create those notes for later referencing. Now, to-do list is a completely different thing. In to-do, you can have the list categorized, but also you can have reminders, you can have due dates, you can assign the items to your team members. So it is like a collaborative tool for completing or achieving a task. And OneNote is only for your task note taking. So whenever you go to a conference, you want to note down something, you just write in OneNote and it becomes a page there. So that's the basic difference.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Prashant.
Thank you, Shikhar ji. Ranjit ji, are you there? Hello, Ranjit ji. I think Ranjit ji is not there. Are there any other questions which one would like to take up? Prashant ji, I think there are not no other questions.
Yeah.
But thank you once again for this extremely enlightening session. And before we go ahead, I think before we leave, I think Mr. S. Saravanan ji has a question. Prashant ji, he has a question which he has raised on chat. He is not able to speak.
Okay, I'm just looking at it.
Yeah, his question is, his files are attacked by MPAG. How can it remove?
See, MPAG is a kind of virus, and if your files are already infected with it, then probably the antivirus will not be able to help. So the thing is, antivirus helps you to prevent the attack. If a virus comes in, then antivirus stops the attack. But if attack has already happened and your files are infected, then antivirus will not be able to recover it. You will have to go for professional softwares for recovery of the data. If MPAG has encrypted your files, there may be solutions available that can recover the encryption, like they can break the encryption and recover your data. So you will have to search on internet like file recovery software from MPAG. So that kind of a search you have to do on Google. And then if you find something, and one more thing I would like to add is you will not be able to get any free solutions to recover data, because once we are infected, these companies, the security companies who make these expensive softwares, will always charge money for recovering the data.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Prashant ji. Friends, before we part, just a small gentle reminder, do not forget to log in again at 4:45 on Monday for an extensive deliberation on arbitration, its introduction and how to move ahead. Advocate Ghiya would be chairing the session, and we would also have some special insights and key points from Pankaj Ghiya ji himself. So friends, on this note, thank you very much for attending Business 360 Reboot and Revive and making it an extremely interactive and a knowledgeable session. Thank you all the speakers and also all the participants here. All those who have registered on uzu.com for this session will automatically get the certificates in the coming week. Looking forward for much more cooperation and further seminars from you all. Thank you all.